got a very interesting topic. I was checking out Kendra Davis of the Crimson Cure, and her title is Zaddy Has Abandoned Black Women. And this is for commentary and reaction to her video. So as you come in and you listen to what she's saying, get in the comments if you understand or you agree with what the sister is saying, because it's deep. You know, fair usage and giving shout out to Crimson Cure because I was feeling this way for a minute. And what she's showing is how the power structures and the power that be played a game on the mentality of black women and used them against the black community under guises of social programming, social engineering, benefits like WIC, Section 8, and different things. Because you see in this country now that most people in most places are not even accepting Section 8, which is creating a homeless problem for women. Because if they've been getting Section 8 and now their vouchers are no good, is leaving them with problems trying to get housing and get someplace for their children. But how did it get to this point? And this is what she finna break down. Check her out. And listen what this sister had. Listen what this sister has to say.
Y'all are helping already by being here. Y'all are helping go up. Y'all here, so y'all helping. Thank you, Robert said. Good evening, Professor. Well, thank you so much. Good evening. How are you?
Make it turn blue. Like it go blue. All right, keep going blue, so we just gonna leave it like this. And listen.
Some things are just, you know, but it's nothing to worry.
What she's finna break down is how they use the system to divide the home and to make children and women more vulnerable in their communities. And as you hear the cry of black women say they're the least protected and the least respected, that wasn't by accident. You know what I mean? If you want to destroy a nation of any people, you have to attack the women if you really want to commit genocide.
Give you a rest. Duh. I didn't know that was a duh. Of black women who have
Keep going.
bought into for many generations now. They bought what Zaddy was selling.
Listen what she finna say about Zaddy.
And now the chickens are coming home to roost. You know, it's like black women were in an abusive relationship with Zaddy. There are stages in an abusive relationship, but we'll get to that later. Thank you, John. Said you seem tired. I guess it's from all the foot you've been stuffing all up in these foods. Probably. We got today and we got tomorrow. I may be late, but I'm here. So thank you all for all of y'all support. That is, you guys really helped me just by being here, chatting, contributing. Zaddy is the word we use to stand for the system or the white supremacist system. So one of the ways in which, thank you, Stardust, said you are the type of woman I want for a wife. A little something because you deserve it. All praise, all glory to the Most High. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Stardust. Thank you. Thank you. That meant a lot to me.
Only thing I don't like about doing reactionaries is the rhetoric they take you through before they get to their topic while they soliciting for donations. You know what I mean? Because she got a real good topic, but she can't get into the topic until, you know, she get her hustle on. But check her out.
I really appreciate it. So, y'all know it's been hectic. I ain't did my nails. When I done showed up without my nails done.
Who cares about that? Come on now. Let's get to this. Let's get to it.
You know they nice and, you know, well manicured, but I'm just saying.
I gotta apologize to my audience. I know you don't care about her nails, you care about the topic.
Y'all are sweethearts. But there have been a lot of ways in which Zaddy has abandoned black women. See, we gotta almost come from the beginning. Many things that Zaddy put in place to get black women into a place of vulnerability with them. These are pretty much
I want to stop right there. Because what she's saying is Zaddy in the white power structure went through stages to actually get black women into a position of vulnerability. Think about that. They use tactics to get the women into a situation to where they are really not protected, not by the system. And it's going to get real interesting when you listen to what she says.
Ironically, these are the same positions that black women claim that they don't want to be in with black men. They'll say, well, we don't want to be feminine or we don't want to be vulnerable to black men because we feel like black men are going to take undue advantage of us. Okay? They don't like to put their money in the same pot as with their husbands, with their black husbands, because why? They feel like their husband is going to make it where they don't have anything, or leave them destitute, or leave them in the lurch if anything were to happen to dissolve this relationship with them. They say, we don't want to be under the leadership of black men because black men don't protect us and they don't provide the type of system where we feel safe and where we feel that there is a safety net for us to be comfortable. Many, many things. But how did black women get there? How did the collective of black women get to that point? It was a...
I'm going to stop there because in 2023, you seen where the white guy went and shot the Koreans at the massage parlor, and they immediately passed a bill to protect the Koreans because he shot and killed 5 of them. But then the guy in Buffalo went and shot 8 black women, most of them elderly, and the government said nothing. They said nothing. Think about that.
Carefully crafted thing. It was a carefully crafted thing. I just had a brainstorm. Sorry. I'm sorry. I had to write this because I will lose it and I'll never get it back.
She's not really writing nothing. She holding the viewers hostage, waiting on them to come in for the topic. She's not writing nothing.
When I have a brainstorm like that, my apologies.
Please, come on.
My creative juices have been there, but they're scattered. My energy's scattered.
You about to lose credibility.
But let me come back to the point.
Please do.
It's been a carefully crafted thing that Zaddy has done with black women to get them in a position where they don't have any safety net anymore. That black women...
Now I'm going to stop right here and add on again. You see how she's saying they crafted a situation to where black women don't have a safety net. And what she means is that in the media, there's been so much denigration of the black male. There's been so much beating up of his character that he's opted out of being a protector and provider. If the average black man see a black woman stranded on the freeway with a flat tire, he's not stopping to help her. Sorry, you know what I mean? But this is what it has come to the point to where black men have said, okay, we not nothing. We ain't this, we ain't that. Y'all want to be close. We opt out. You don't got to call the police to come get us. You ain't got to do nothing. Protect yourself or call the police or go to the range. Do whatever you got to do. But we opt out. We're not going to go back and forth with you about who this and who that. This is what she's saying has got to in our community, to where men are deliberately opting out of the role as protector and provider. And that's deep. To just walk away.
They have trusted in the system. They have trusted in feminism. They have trusted in all of these systems that Zaddy has created. They've trusted in the institution to take care of them for their basic needs. And they don't have to be on welfare for this, but take care of them in their basic need. They've entrusted themselves, but Zaddy has used that to maneuver the collective of black women in a position that if he were to leave them, they would have nothing. They would have nothing. And black women were so trusting in the specter of Zaddy, if you understand. He made himself so big in front of her that nothing that he put together could ever fail. That nothing that he produced could ever, it would never be, she would never be in poverty, or she would never be destitute, or she would never want for anything if only she did a particular thing. And that thing was the destruction of her community. Thank you, Marriage, Politics, and Sports says.
Did you hear what she said? She said that the white power structure created a situation to where the elevation economically and socially of black women had to be a deal that she would abandon the elevation and rising of the black community. That's deep.
Zaddy still owns too many black women. We need another Emancipation Proclamation. Yeah. And see, it's a psychological thing too. But of course, it's a values situation as well. It's a values situation as well. They maneuver black women into not having any covering from black men. Dismissing the covering. Okay?
Let me stop again. When she said dismissing the covering, she said, what she's saying is that the rhetoric and the portrayal of black men through movies like Color Purple, Waiting to Exhale, and all the rhetoric has gotten to the point to where black men are refusing to be a covering in a society as it has gotten 100 times more dangerous than it ever was. And at this time, the white power structure is abandoning black women. We was looking at statistics earlier today when they said the rise in jobs. The rise in jobs are manual labor jobs that they have for men, because while they was working out their final kinks and they playing during quarantine, when they had black women working from home on their computers, those computers were tracking how black women worked from their computers at home and replicated them, so when it came time to go back to work, they don't need them anymore because they created a system that could do the same things in technology that somebody pushing the keys could do. So they don't need them. The rise in jobs are all manual labor. And guess who they're not hiring? Oh man, my bad, John.
Stop telling me you need to stay with your car
I
insurance.
tried to turn it back on and back it up.
It doesn't work.
I'm gonna catch her where she at.
So, y'all know it's been hectic. I ain't get.
Her theater is something terrible.
And then they made it play out in real life, in covering, and then demonize black men and their masculinity and they covering to make sure that black women would never go.
That's why they created the new term, toxic masculinity. Masculinity and testosterone and aggression are the main things that made men protectors. So they created a system and an idea that those attributes were not conducive to society, which only made the community more vulnerable.
Go back and never want to go back. See, all of that's been crafted through the years. All of that has been crafted through movies. All of that has been crafted through cinema, through shows, through reality shows, through news articles, the mainstream media. All of these things have been done to demonize black men in the eyes of black women, so that black women would not want to go back. So that when black women thought of black men and their covering, they would cringe away from that. And then they made it play out in real life, incarcerating black men to a high degree, locking them out of economic opportunities to a disproportionate degree, such that black men were homeless. Homelessness was an issue for black men, and to a degree it still is. Okay? The joblessness, all of these things were black men's plights collectively. So in her eyes, she's saying, oh, he's at the mercy of this system. So my loyalty and my allegiance needs to be to this system, not this man. Even though the system did not have a good plan for black women.
And that's deep because
they didn't have a good plan for black women.
What's deep about it is that you can actually see, when you see like people like Joy Reid and Oprah, and you see the black women like Cynthia G and all the rest of them, you see that their allegiance is to the power structure. Their allegiance is to white supremacy. That is why it is so easy for them to denigrate black males in public, because they're close to the system. But when this play out and when she shows you what's actually happening right now is they know that the black woman can't carry the vote. They know that she can't really do the manual and physical labor that they need for the metaverse when they're moving away from people and going into robots. What they have done is they have really created a trick bag within the community that it may take decades to end this gender war. It may take decades to see nuclear families again. Think about this, because it's playing out. You'll see a woman right now, her whole thing will be, my job. I got a job. I make this. I'm chasing the bag. She's not chasing family. She's not chasing rebuilding community. She's chasing a way to be closer to the white power structure and the white elite versus a way to uplift her community. Not all of them, but a whole lot.
Then Zaddy engaged in another form of abuse, like an abusive spouse. Economic abuse. See, when you are economically being abused, the person that's doing it make you beholden to them for your very food that get into your mouth. Do you understand what I'm talking about? That is economic abuse. We got this money.
Do y'all remember how they made them jump through hoops for WIC? Made them jump through hoops for Section 8, made them jump through hoops and go through all the programming to get certain jobs and to get in certain fields? It was all the plan.
All this money, but you can't have none, black woman. You gotta come to me. You gotta come to me for your food. That's your SNAP. That's your TAMP. That's your EBT. You gotta come to me for this. You gotta come to me for educational opportunities. You gotta come to me, beg me for job opportunities. You gotta come to me for your basic necessities. Your housing, your everything. You gotta come to me for that. I'm not gonna teach you how to fish. I'm gonna issue you out a fish or two every once and again. I'm gonna issue you out a little piece of fish here, a little piece of fish there. Keep you half hungry, so your belly will never be too full where you can think straight. And you'll do what I want you to do because you're scared of your belly touching your back. And you'll do what I want you to do because you got them kids in the house and they ain't got no daddy, do they? Because I got you out from the covering of black men. So the children whose mouths you got to worry about feeding, you would do it by hook or by crook. You would do it by hook or by...
And it's crazy the way she put that because it's so true. You know what I mean? When you see the broken homes and you see the man gone and then Section 8 and WIC steps in as the place of the father and the state becomes the father, then she becomes attached and beholding to the state in direct opposition to the general aspirations of black people, to the general aspirations of even God. They go against God. You read the Bible, and the Bible or whatever religion you have, and it tells you what roles gender plays. So they say, we will go against God. We will go against the Bible. We will go against the commandments. We will go against anything to eat in these streets. We'll go against anything to have a roof over our head. We ain't gonna listen to no man, we ain't gonna listen to God, we ain't gonna listen to nobody but the system. The one who's issuing the EBT, the Section 8, the checks, the jobs, the Democrats. And that's why you see the community where it is. It chose Satan over God.
I got you. I got you. Because you don't want to go hungry and you don't want them kids to go hungry either. And then that's yet another avenue of the abuse that Zaddy put black women through. Using the children as a pawn.
I believe even when they cut the stamps, even when they hold you up, even when they make you recertify and they make you jump back through the hoops, that's a reaffirmation of their power over you. After 6 months, you got to come, you got to recertify, you got to do this. And then you got to come down to the office, you got to do this. You be holding and you jumping through hoops for his handout.
See, not only did he maneuver you into single motherhood at an extremely high rate of single motherhood. Okay? As black people, as about 12 to 13% of the population, ain't no way black women are supposed to be right behind white women in single motherhood percentages. No way. The math should not be mathing. But unfortunately, it is. All you got to do is look at some of these stats, okay? Now it's saying 2023. It was updated January 2nd of 2023. So this is really recent, but this article still has stats going back to like 2019, 2020, 2021 on up, right? Single mom stats. There were 15.6 million single mother-headed households in the United States in 2019. This is 3 times the numbers of 1960. 3 times. 25% of U.S. families are headed by a single parent. 80% of single parent headed households are mothers. So if 25% of U.S. families are headed by a single parent and 80% of that 25 is mothers, or it's 21% with a single mother, live primarily with a single mother. Studies estimate that by the time children turn 9, 20% of U.S. children born to a married couple and more than 50% of those born to a cohabitating couple will experience the breakup of their folks. So it's telling you that 20% of children, which is low, will experience the breakup if their parents were married. But more than 50% will experience the breakup of their parents if the parents were never married. 40% of babies born in the United States were born to an unmarried mom in 2018. 57% of millennial parents had at least one child out of wedlock. 64% of millennial moms reported at least one birth out of wedlock. This is the millennials. This is the 30-somethings.
That means.
Let me go down a little bit.
That means that children out of wedlock and without fathers and without nuclear family structure has become the cultural norm. You know what I mean? It's normal. But what she's breaking down is, she's breaking down what's the consequences. See, all these actions have consequences. You know what I mean? And the consequences happen in real time. And what you're seeing in real time and what you're seeing in 2022, with all the violence and all of the devastation within the black community, 2023 is coming in even worse, even harder. The sister Diamond of Diamond and Silk that died, did you see when I showed you the Star Report in my community section how those black men celebrated her death? Now think about a culture where the women celebrated the death of Kevin Samuels, and now the men have flipped over and they celebrating the death of Diamond. Can you see where this is going? Can you see where it's going? They worse, gangbangers smoke their ops and, you know what I mean, smoke on the grave of the dead. Now it's become normal in culture for if somebody has a different idea than you, or the black man says something, then let's celebrate when he dies. But what does it look like when you see black men celebrating the death of black women? Can you see where this culture is going, and can you see who's behind it?
Single motherhood by race. Take a look at this chart, if you can see it. Take a look at this chart. Single mothers by race. Percentage of white single mothers, 40. Percentage of black single mothers, 30. Percentage of Hispanic, 24. Percentage of Asian, 3. 3. Single digits, and it's not 9. It's 3. Single mother numbers in the United States have always been higher among African American women at the hands of slavery. See, go back to where the value system was switched out. At the hands of slavery, see, they know when it happened, and they know why it happened, and they will report why it happened. But because we don't understand the lingo, we don't understand what this stuff means, we have missed that. At the hand.
I want to stop right here because what she's hitting on how it goes back to slavery. In my other videos, I did a video called The Relationship Between Massa and Mammy. Massa always kept a mammy. The mammy was the one that he let work in the kitchen. The mammy was the one that nursed his kid. The mammy had authority over the black males and other black women. The mammy was the right arm of Massa in his exploitation of the rest of the slaves. He gave her privileges and exhorted her over the rest of the slaves, and she reveled in it. She didn't identify that Massa was killing her sisters and killing her brothers and selling her children. All she wanted was to be close to Massa, have better clothes than the rest of the slaves, and be protected by him at the detriment of all the other black people on the plantation. That's why they called her Mammy.
Ends of slavery, black women's consensual relationships and marriages bore no illegal rights, and black women had no legal rights to the children they bore at the hands of grape of their white slave owners. And this is what I'm talking about. The use of the children has never stopped. The children have never stopped belonging to Zaddy. Never, never. It has never stopped. Once largely limited to poor women and minorities, motherhood without marriage has settled deeply into middle America. What are they trying to say? That it used to be a poor problem. It's not anymore. You can't just say poor black women have the highest single mother rates. You can't just say that. Now it's settled deeply into what? Middle America. So that indicates that there is now a set of values that supports that. It's cultural.
What she's saying now is single parenthood and children out of wedlock in the black community has become a cultural norm. Gang violence has become a cultural norm. Drug abuse has become a cultural norm. Alcoholism has become a cultural norm. Gender politics and all the rest of these things are cultural norms. But those cultural norms has moved everybody in the black community into vulnerable positions to almost a possibility of genocidal extinction at the hands of each other. At the hands of each other. And I showed it to you, and you see it play out. When you seen women celebrating the death of Kevin Samuels in front of the world, in front of other men, because he had views similar to what men had, and because he had those views, he should die. Every man looked at every woman that was laughing and said, whoa, I agree with him, so I should be dead too. That's how you think it. Because we are reactionary people. So when they see Diamond, they forget the fact that she's a black woman. She has a family. They celebrate. They call her Mammy. They smoking on her. They celebrating her death. And this is going into 2023. Do you really want to continue down this road? If you're saying you're not protected and you're not respected, how you think you're going to get it? Tell me how you think you're going to get protected and respected when you don't respect your own black men who could protect you if somebody kicked the door in. He could protect the kids if he was there. But it seems like you really helped Zaddy run him off so that you could sit in an office and make decisions over who gets food stamps. When you go to them social service offices now, who you see in there working? Who you see making decisions about who get food stamps, when they get them, who come to who you think they put in front, on the front line at them places? They put mammies up in there. And mammies is denying a brother. Straight up.
Now.
Hold on, let me say this.
Yeah.
Let me say this. Don't get emotional and have an emotional response to what Kenya is saying. Look at the news. Look at what's happening. Look at what they're doing with the benefits that they used to give to assist families. They find every way to make it null and void. They give you the same amount of food stamps even though they've doubled the price of food. They give you the same vouchers for Section 8 even though they know that people are price gouging on housing. You think that's by mistake? You think they don't got no number crunchers in there? What is they really trying to do? They've been showing on YouTube a lot of women living in their cars with vouchers, living in shelters with vouchers, because nobody is accepting Section 8 because they have price gouged on the rent and they can't get in. So they got to go back to their families, or it's almost like they squeezing them. Give up the Section 8 and get back in the workforce. And in the meantime, figure out how you're going to survive. Figure out how you and your kids going to survive. Because you don't have any covering. It ain't like you got some man somewhere that's in a position to help you and get you to the level that you're trying to reach. See, what they do is they exhort a few, and the few become the standard that you look at. But while the few is eating, the millions are starving.
You understand? The fastest growth in the last 2 decades had occurred among white women in their 20s. This is just in the last 20 years, though, who have some college education but not a 4-year degree. Okay?
We're going to go past these statistics.
Did you know that in Texas, rifles can be carried in public without a license?
I bet
Whereas
they
in
can.
Florida, no open carrying is...
Thank you so much, Brian. I really, really appreciate that contribution. But we're going to go on a break, and we will be back. Captive sojourner. Your tribal lineage is determined by the seed of your father, biblically. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. No, learned about it. There aren't any even be able to take advantage. Captive sojourner. Your tribal lineage is determined by the seed of your father, biblically. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Numbers 1:18. Protect your seed, fellas. Yes, it is through your.
And I was just thinking about what she just said. They have twisted the truth in so many different ways that we have forgot that genetically the seed of the child comes from the man and the woman just has an egg. So the child that she's carrying for a man becomes hers and the property of the state. That's why the child is immediately issued a social security number, immediately issued a birth certificate, because the child becomes the mother's and the state's, unless a father signs that birth certificate and gives that child a surname. They're playing so many tricks with our culture.
Your father. Okay? So, where we left off. Oh, bam, 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 bam. You gotta hit the like button. Bam, bam. You gotta hit the like button. We got 467 people who made it their mission to hit the like button. So let's try to get the next 500, 600 people to go ahead and hit the like button, make it their mission to hit the like button so we can get our way into the algorithm and make a difference here. So I appreciate all of the likes, and I also appreciate all of the contributions as well. At the end, if you gave through Cash App, I will read the Cash Apps, whoever gave through Cash App. So could one of my mods put my Cash App in the chat just in case, because I know some people don't like to super chat.
Bear with me, people that's watching,
Anyways,
because she's gonna get to
continue.
a point.
Because black women have been abandoned by Zaddy. He's used the children. The children have never not been his. Black women's parenting has been disparaged due to that single motherhood. She's the face of a bad parent. Black single mothers are the face of bad parenting in America. As feminist and gynocratic as this society is, you would think they would try to say it's men, but they give the custody to the women too much to make men the bad guy or the face of bad parenting, so they make black single mothers the face of bad parenting. So your parenting get disparaged in all kind of media outlets. All kinds of media outlets. Hey, Miss Shay Sade.
And I was thinking about the divestors. Like, I think that the ones that's coming out saying they're divesting, I think that they are really like delusional, because the whole world watches black people. The whole world. They emulate us in Africa. They like hip hop in China, in Britain. They watch us, and they watch our women. They watch the twerking. They watch how we talk to each other. They watch the gender politic. And these things have made you unsafe. When you go into Koreans and you go in their stores as a black woman, they have no problem with doing something to you. Have you noticed how they keep showing all these women attacking Karens and Beckys and Popeyes and different places? They're using media to create a narrative that shows you in a bad light, while at the same time using media to let the world see how you talk about black men. It's conquer and divide. It's Willie Lynch. It's Willie Lynch. The whole system as it relates to black people in America is based on Willie Lynch's idea of how to keep us slaves, even after slavery. He said it'd take hundreds of years to undo the mental slavery and the jealousy and hatred we have for each other because of white supremacy. We don't even see it anymore. We don't even acknowledge when we see somebody hating on us.
So pennies toward a Cynthia G debate if she ever accepts. Hey Shay, you know I saw you posted. I challenged her. I don't even remember doing it. I probably did. I probably called her out a couple of times. But the reality is Cynthia is a lost cause. She's a lost cause. I would not debate her. She wouldn't debate me unless it was some platform that supported her views, like a Fox or something like that. And she don't got nothing for me. She don't got nothing for me. If anybody's been here really truly a day one, you remember the massacre of 2018. Shay, you ain't got no wrench. How much? Come on now. Slip it. Call me slip. Okay. So she don't really got nothing for me because if you know, you know. If y'all been here for a long time, y'all know what happened at the end of 2018. It was back when I was rolling with Terezo. You ain't. Why come you don't have a wrench? I could have swore I gave you one, but okay. You should have been had one. But anyways, UFO said he know. Then you realize it was back when I was rolling with the Masculine Mercenaries, and there was a Manosphere Mania way back. He don't have them. AM don't have them no more. And it was at the end of the year of 2018, and it was ugly. And so I've understood, even though I did not have the information then that I do now, and my channel was really small, you know, at that time, if I had a channel, I don't know if I had a separate channel, I might have. Because I think I did do it by the end of 2018. I think I had a separate channel, I think. So, in any case, let me get back to it because we got a lot to cover. Black women's parenting. She's the face. Black single mother is the face of bad parenting. Okay? Bad parenting. They traffic black children through CPS programs. Yes? We know that? Put a 1 in the chat if you know that. Put a 1 in the chat.
And it's crazy because systemically we know that most of the trafficking of black children goes through the same social programs that's controlled by white supremacy through black gynocracy and black women. The foster moms, the ones who get the kids in their houses. And then the kids run away and they gone. You know what I mean? It's deep because we don't see these things as systemic. We think these things are isolated when in all actuality they scripted. They supposed to happen because his plan is working.
If you know that black children, among other children, but we talking about ours, get actually trafficked through CPS. And why are our children vulnerable to go to CPS? Why are our children vulnerable to that? Because they have no covering of their fathers. Because their mothers are single. There's no marriage. There's no man. He done maneuvered you into a position.
And I'm going to stop her right there. And I'm going to tell you a real sick thing in the black community. Guess who does all the calling on black women to CPS? Take a guess. Take a guess. Who gets on the phone when they mad at their girlfriend or they fell out with their girlfriend and call CPS? I had an auntie that fell out with her neighbor. And she watched her neighbor run to the store to get a pack of cigarettes or whatever she was getting from the store. And before her neighbor could get back, she called CPS and said she had left the kids in there and had been gone. Just because she was mad. She sat there and waited to her to go to the store. I remember what it was. She played the midday. She waited till her neighbor went to play the midday lotteries and stand in that lottery line and call CPS. It's diabolical what we do to each other. Think about that. Who calls CPS on black women more than other black women? Who disrespects black women more than other black women? It's deep. And I know that the women subscribers, I don't know if you're going to look at this emotional or you're going to look at what Kendra is saying and you're going to look at what's going on in the society so that you can buckle down for 2023. Because if it's anything like 2022, it's going to be devastating. It's going to be devastating. It's going to be culturally devastating.
Position where you're vulnerable and the children are vulnerable, and now he can come pick you off. Now he's in the abandonment stage. Now he's in the abandonment stage.
Let me tell you what she means by that. The white power structure, they are abandoning all the stuff, everything that they told you before, all the elevation that they told you was going to happen. It's over. You know why it's over? Because everybody overplayed their hand. The vote cannot be carried anymore in the black community. The black woman can't carry the vote anymore. She said how dumb and how stupid the black men were so much. Anybody she votes for, we voting against, or we going independent. Regardless. Because the pandering to her has been at the detriment of children, the community, and everything else. So she must lose power to bring the vote and influence men and children. And you can see she's lost it. She's lost the ability to influence her man. She's lost the ability to influence her children. And she's lost the ability to be a priority to white power structure, to the Democrats. They're moving on to the Mexicans and Hispanics. She's being replaced. She's out. It's deep because it's happening right in front of your very eyes.
Now Zaddy is just about done because the black community is pretty much done. Pretty much done. Now you done served your purpose. He don't have no more use for you. All them sweet nothings, he don't have no use for you no more. Get about his face now. All that talking about you gonna divest to him, he do not want you. That's why they are coming out on TikTok talking about how they don't like black women. Random white men are coming out on TikToks over here, over there, talking about how they.
And another thing that you got to realize, all that divesting talk is what it was prompting these young militias and these young race soldiers to run up in them grocery stores and do what they do. Do you really think that you can divest into a culture that's built on white supremacy, knowing anything that comes out your womb is going to be black? You stop telling them that you divested and you want to marry their sons. Stop telling them Klansmen that you want to have babies with their grandsons. It's insane. What make you think, why do you think them young white boys run up in them churches and run up in the markets and they go everywhere there's a soft target of women folk? They're not running up on O Block. I'm from Detroit. They're not rolling up on Dexter. They're not rolling up on Linwood. They're not rolling through Highland Park looking for the brothers. They trying to smoke y'all because they know that your womb threatens them with genetic annihilation. They will never truly embrace you. They will only use you to destroy the man and your children. Period. Hate it or love it.
How they don't like black women attitude. They don't like your attitude. They say, no, you pretty, and that's about it. That's about all it is. We don't like your attitude. We don't like how you go. You're not submissive. You just bad all around. That destroys the myth that you are feminine with Zaddy. That's a myth too. Oh, y'all don't understand the myth today. Y'all understand what we talking about today. That's a myth too. That they get feminine for them. No, they don't. A hyena will never be a lioness, ever. I don't care what she do. I don't care which lion come around. She gonna be what she was made to be. You don't switch it over like that. You don't switch on your femininity and your submission on. It's not a switch. It's not a switch. It's not a switch for nobody. They may actively deny it from black men, but that doesn't mean that they're able to do it for white men. Do you understand? Just because they actively deny black men femininity does not mean that they are able to give white men that femininity. because she's not feminine. He know that. He know what he made her. So he don't want to have nothing to do with her. She done.
They have a report called the Mollahan Report. And when they were structuring the programs to divide the homes, they had doubts that it would even be possible because they thought that black women would not be loyal to the state and the system over their community. And they were wrong.
Served her purpose for destroying the black community. So her children are getting trafficked through CPS, and you're in that position because you're a single mother. Too many of you are single mothers. That's why you're in that position. Thank you so much, Joseph. Thank you.
Y'all should be able to see these comments. These comments is crazy. They saying Zaddy Train has left the station. Contrary to the lies they try to sell, femininity is not a switch. I worked in corporate America. Zaddy will hire black women for the double quota. They will work without demanding higher pay like black, white men and white women do. I don't know. Have y'all who watched Good Times? The Good Times show. They got a show where James Evans went to a job interview and took his wife with him. The boss came and said he didn't want to hire James. He wanted to hire the black woman because that was a double quota. They got a quota for minorities and they got a quota for the woman. And they gave her the job they were supposed to get James. They've been doing that all the time. That's how they get their money, but by saying they hire minorities.
Thank you so much, Joseph. I really appreciate. Somebody asked, what about Gail Nelson? Kind of what about her? Because I like Gail. I'm aware that as far as I know, Gail is married to a white man or a non-black man. Is that correct? But there's a difference between interracial dating and marriage and swirling and divesting. Okay? There's a difference between interracial dating and marrying and swirling and divesting. See, it could happen that a black man get with a white woman and it have nothing to do with thumbing his nose to black women, right? He'll get with her, he got with her. He got with her. Then there's the other one that get with white women for validation of some sort. That's different. There are black women who just so happen she might have been raised around all white men. So the likelihood of her marrying a white man actually go up because she might have been raised. I'm not talking about Gail because I don't know Gail's history. But let's just say random black girl X grew up around all white boys. Went to school with all white boys. Went to school all her life. The likelihood of her liking white boys and then wanting to get with them is higher than this black girl that was raised around all black boys. Y'all understand? Because a divester is not getting with a white man because she happened to meet that white man and they so happened to get into a relationship. She's with that white man because she hates black men. She hates herself as a black woman.
Wow.
She's seeking white womanhood. She wants him to give her a status that a black man cannot give her because he's black and the other guy's white. See, it's the divester that wants to get online and have clubhouse meetings about how to destroy black men off the back of their divesting. There is a difference. because the one is actually rare. It's actually rare. It's the exception now.
I'm going to stop this, but I'm going to put it in my community section. Towards the end, she gets into the dialogue about why they took the Section 8 and how they know that they're going to increase the women's population in prison as well as the male population in prison. And the way that they're going at the women is through taking the benefits, making it hard for her to get housing and living in those cars and having to feed those kids, to where she will be prone to crime just out of survival mode. It's going down. I mean, you don't got to believe it. I mean, you can think that this is some type of rhetoric that's going on because you watch so much crap on TV and on the news that you don't realize that these things are actually happening. It's actually going down. When you look at the workforce, look who's being hired now. The black men that they had discarded from the workforce, they begging to come back to do these manual and physical labor jobs, because everything that can be done on a computer, they doing it automated. They doing away with those jobs. They're doing away with them. They don't need you to type. They don't need secretaries. They don't need that anymore. So they bringing the males back into the workforce after they've already created a gender politic that divides the nuclear family and makes the man feel justified in not protecting or securing black women and their children. And that's sad, and it's very dangerous, and it makes the whole community vulnerable. And I didn't want to keep you guys this long because people don't really like to watch. Watch this video and go to the community section and actually see the whole thing, what Kenya is saying, and look at the statistics that she's showing you, so that when you see things on the news and you see what's going on, you'll understand that these things are happening real. If you think that you were not protected and not respected in 2022, look at how 2023 is actually coming in. We have to turn this around. We got to change this narrative. We got to get real. Ain't nobody divested into white supremacy. White supremacy is not accepting black amalgamation. That's a fallacy. It's a trick. It's a trick. It's a trick that leads down a path to genocide and destruction. Like, share, subscribe to the video. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Share the video. Think about what she's saying. Don't get emotional. If you know, and I'm not talking to the men because the men understand, but women, stop saying brothers ain't this and brothers ain't that and whatever, because you speaking these things into reality. You keep saying that you're not protected. Guess what? More and more people are opting out of protecting you. They passed a law last summer that said that the police don't even have to protect you. They passed purge laws to make you not safe. And the only person who would protect you, you saying he ain't nothing? And when a woman says that, do she mean her daddy? Her son? Her uncles? What black men are y'all talking about? It got to be the men you know. Is it your daddies? Your uncles, your brothers? You got to figure this out, family. Because this trap is very insidious. I'm going to end on this note. Peace out of Detroit. Stay up. Keep y'all head on the swivel. Don't go for the banana.